You are listening to Radio Long Island City, recorded at our studios near Hell Gate, 9 kilometers north of the Harbor Hill Moraine. And now, the Observatory. The Observatory, Tuesday the 6th of January 2026. It is 16 days after the winter solstice. It is 73 days before the spring equinox. By the Western Christian calendar, today is the Feast of the Epiphany, recalling the story of the Magi bringing gifts to the newborn Jesus at Bethlehem. The sun rises today at 7:20 a.m. Solar noon takes place today at 12:02 p.m. The sun sets today at 4:44 p.m. Civil twilight ends at 5:14 p.m. and nautical twilight ends at 5:48 p.m. The length of daytime today is 1 minute, 1 second longer than yesterday. The moon is in its waning gibbous phase and is 86% full at midday. The moon sets today at 9:41 a.m., and then it rises at 8:42 p.m. The third quarter will arrive on Saturday, the 10th of January. These are the predicted tides today for Horns Hook. In the middle of the night, high tide, 12:10 a.m., 1 meter 40. In the morning, low tide, 5:53 a.m., minus 6 centimeters. In the afternoon, high tide, 12:20 p.m., 1 meter 52. In the evening, low tide, 6:31 p.m., minus 18 centimeters. In our shared realm of plants and animals, local fisher folk report that fishing has slowed down enormously by this time of year. The main species of fish that had provided a good catch through the warm months have withdrawn from our waters. Many of them advise fishing on the smaller rivers of Long Island, which is a reminder that in addition to the Peconic River, Long Island is also home to the Nissaquag River near Smithtown, the Carmans River near Brookhaven, and the Connecticut River near Sayville. Pickerel, perch, and trout are some of the fish that inhabit these rivers and some of the lakes on the island. One observer points out that while there are still bass in our waters, they are cold and lethargic, so they have little interest in taking bait. Commemorations. On this day in 1912, the theory of continental drift was presented by the geophysicist Alfred Wegener in a lecture at the Geological Association in Frankfurt, Germany. He was not the first to propose that the continents had changed positions through geological time. As early as the 16th century, the Flemish cartographer Abraham Ortelius had noticed the strange way the Atlantic coasts of South America and Africa mirrored each other, like pieces of a jigsaw puzzle. Wegener came to his insight when he noted surprising similarities in rocks and fossils on either side of the Atlantic. Geologists resisted the theory, proposing instead long submerged land bridges between the continents. Only in the 1960s, with the emerging understanding of plate tectonics, would a mechanism for continental drift be discovered. Wegener's hunch is now the accepted understanding of how our continents came to be. On this day in 1941, President Franklin D. Roosevelt delivered his State of the Union address. The United States had not yet joined World War II, but FDR made a strong case for preparedness and offered a vision of what free democracies should stand for. He proposed that there were 4 fundamental freedoms that people everywhere in the world ought to enjoy: freedom of speech and expression, freedom of worship, freedom from want, freedom from fear. The first 2 are guaranteed in our Constitution. The last 2 expanded the notion of freedom to include economic security and a world without aggressive war. 4 freedoms to ponder and to preserve in our world today. A somber anniversary. Today is the 5th anniversary of the attack on the United States Capitol by a mob of insurrectionists. They forced the Congress to flee its chambers, attacked Capitol Police, and defaced and stole from the seat of our democracy. Remember that shameful day. The Museo del Barrio will be hosting its annual Three Kings Day Parade today. It begins at 106th and Park and ends at 116th Street, in the heart of the barrio. This year's theme is Pa'lante, siempre pa'lante, or Forward, always forward. It is inspired by the legacy of the Young Lords, a group in the late 1960s that was inspired in part by the Black Panthers. They organized community-based self-help in Puerto Rican neighborhoods in Chicago and New York, and they advocated for radical changes in our government and economic systems. El Museo honors their legacy and the enduring traditions of cultural resistance and mutual care in East Harlem. Alternate side of the street parking is suspended today in New York City for the Three Kings holiday. And that is the Observatory, Tuesday the 6th of January, 2026.